Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and I just wanted to make a video about going to the track. Maybe you've never gone to the track before and you don't know how the whole system works, so just wanted to make a quick video on that. Most of the tracks are pretty much the same, but it could vary a little bit, but this should give you a pretty good idea. So basically, when you show up to the track, there's a few things you want to make sure of. First of all is that you have the proper clothing, because they will turn you away if you show up in shorts and sandals and all that. There's different requirements for different applications, like if you're running nitrous or an aftermarket supercharger and all that. Sometimes they make you wear like different fire protective coats and all that. If you're running faster than, I think it's a 13.99, then you need to wear a helmet. And if you're going faster than it was a 1090 something, then you have to have a roll cage. So anyway, just be aware of that. So they're going to ask you when you show up how much horsepower your car makes, and they're not really going to know either way, whatever you tell them. But it's probably not the best time to brag about horsepower numbers, because it'll probably just mess things up for you even more. So anyway, as soon as you show up, you'll pay to get in, and then you're going to go to a pre-staging area where they're going to do a tech inspection. Now, this is a part where a lot of people can really have some trouble too. Some tracks, they don't even let you run slicks on certain events, so you have to have an actual DOT approved drag radial or other DOT tire. So you want to be kind of aware of that too, and try to find a website for the track you're going to and look at all their requirements. But anyway, so they're going to go through a tech inspection. They're going to make sure your battery is tied down and it's not going to go anywhere. They might get under the car and look for a drive shaft safety loop, which I don't know, or they might just ask if you have one, which most people really won't have. Also, make sure if it's a brand new car that you actually have your plates in. I've seen some examples where people show up with a brand new temporary tag and they've turned them away for that. So anyway, as you get through inspection, they're going to just look through the car, make sure you don't have any weapons in there too. Like I said, make sure the battery tie down's in place, make sure that nothing bad could happen from what they could see. And then you're going to basically just get in line and start racing. Some tracks have a grudge match lane, which is where you can choose who you're going to run with, and so you'd have to get in those different lanes if you want to race your friend. And then other lanes would just be for regular racing. Whoever you're next to is who you race. So once you wait in line, that'd be a good time if you can pull out your handheld programmer or something and turn on your cooling fan and all that for the car, because as you're sitting there idling in line, some people even just turn the car off. But as you're sitting there idling in line, that's where the car can start to kind of heat up. And you don't want the car ice stone cold, because you want the oil and everything to be at its proper operating temperature. But at the same time, you don't want the car, you know, overheating and all that. So you can either turn the car off and have a friend help you push it, or you're just gonna have to start it and stop it if the line's, you know, taking a long time. And if somebody slicks the track down by blowing a transmission in their Honda, like it happens every single time I go, then the track will be shut down for a while. And you really want to be careful that you know which lane that was, so that you don't decide to haul down that same lane even after they've cleaned it up and end up putting your car into a wall. So you do want to be careful about that. So anyway, as you go through the main gates area, now this is where it starts to get important, and you just don't want to get too excited here. Just keep calm, just be there for a good time. Okay, and anyway, so as you're coming around the corner, it's likely they're going to have what they call a water box, or at least a little section of the pavement that they're going to be using a hose to spray down. And if you have slicks on, what you're going to want to do regardless is drive around that water box, because you don't want your front tires going through that water. Okay, so you're going to drive around it, then back up into the water, then pull forward just a little bit so you're not just in a big puddle of water, and then you'll do a burnout. And that'll get your tires all heated up and sticky. Okay, but you do want to avoid that water box if you're just regular street tires. And if you are trying to back up into that water to get your slicks wet so that you can actually spin them and get them heated up, then make sure you're not in the puddle spraying water everywhere. So after the water box, you're gonna pretty much go to the staging lane right before, right in the launch area. And there should be people there kind of waving you in and telling you when you can come forward and when you shouldn't. At the track that I go to, you also have to have the windows up when you're racing, so they'll stop and tell you that. You just want to make sure your windows are up, rolled up. And what you'll notice in this video I'm gonna play, I'm going to go over the lights, like how the lights work. And it may be set up slightly different at different tracks, as far as if the tree has lights that are going one at a time down until it hits green, or at the track that I went to, which was Las Vegas Motor Speedway, you see all of the yellow light up and then it just goes green. But the first thing you want to do is make sure that the cars in front of you have cleared the track, somewhat entirely. And they probably won't let you go any closer to the staging area until those other cars are at least most of the way down the track. Okay, and look for hazard lights for those cars, because if somebody loses an engine or something at the top of the quarter mile, you really don't want to go plowing into them. So you got to kind of pay attention to the cars that just went in front of you. Then you want to heat these some mitches up. So now we're going to get into staging the car. So basically, as you start to roll forward, you want to go very slowly, because at the very, very top of what they call the tree, which has all the lights, there's a section of yellow lights and then another section of yellow lights. Okay, so on each lane, those lights are going to be telling you if your car is pulled up enough or not. So as you start to pull up, the first top light will light up. And that's when you, if you want to be courteous, what you're supposed to do is, pre-stage, you're supposed to let that first light go on, and you're supposed to wait for the other person to come and let their first top light come on. Okay? Then once your top lights are on, then you're going to pull forward just a little more until that second light down comes on. Okay, once both of those lights are on, now you're pre-staged, and as soon as the other guy does the same thing, it's gonna go down the tree and go green, and it'll be time to go. Keep in mind, people might try to really fake you out and burn you out too. If you pull up and you've staged both of your lights and you're sitting there revving your engine and ready to go, nothing's gonna happen until they finally pull up and do the same thing. So just keep that in mind. But also what you'll notice in the video is you can have all of these staging lights on, the orange lights, and if the other cars have made it to the end of the track and it shows what their quarter mile time was and all that, and like your lanes will not go green until their numbers that are up on the board disappear, and you'll see that in the video. You'll see all the times that the other people got disappear, and then it finally lets you go. Okay, now you have your staging lanes lights then that we talked about at the very top, and then once you're both staged, depending on how the track's set up, then you're going to have the rest of the tree go. And as soon as, in this case in Las Vegas, it's just all of the yellow lights under that go on at the same time, and then it hits green. So as soon as you see yellow, go for it. Other tracks may be set up for different events where each of the lights goes ding, 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 ding all the way down until it hits green. But the way that it worked at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and some tracks may be set up, you got your staging lights 1 and 2 that come on to show you that you're in the right position, and then it just goes all orange and green, and you just go. Now, keep in mind also, if you go too deep, when you're staging, then you'll light up the first top light, the second light, and if you keep going, then that top light will go off again, and it'll turn off. And what you'd have to do is back up until it lights back on. And that can trip you out a little bit. I've had that happen where I'm staged and somebody else comes and they go all the way through it. then all the way back. And as soon as they come back and that second light lights up, then they both went, you know, it let it run, and they all went amber and then went green. So then keep in mind, as you're going all the way down the track, once you get to the very end, there should be a cone or something set up so that you know that you're at the end of the track, and a little light should come on too as you're passing by. Or if you're second, you'll see the other person trip that light at the end of the track, just a little tiny light that's kind of on the barriers. You will not see in most cases, the actual boards that say what the time and the trap speed was. That's right at the quarter mile, so as soon as you pass by it, it lights up, so you wouldn't even see it. Just make sure you don't go off the other end, because I saw a white Camaro that did that, just kept going and figured it out, slammed on his brakes and went into the sand trap at the very end. So anyway, hopefully this video was helpful and you could see what lights I'm talking about and how the staging lights work. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.